Hello.
We can hear you, Rick.
We hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Okay, good. Yeah, my Zoom blew up or something because it wouldn't load the normal way, so I had to load it as a web browser version or something, so good. I was starting to sweat there.
All right, we are good to go if you want to start the meeting. We are live on YouTube and recording.
Okay, yeah, let me get back to my dock here. Okay, let's bring the meeting to order for Thursday, December 17th, 2020.
And I'll do roll call. Mr. Shipley.
Aaron, you're muted.
Yeah, he's in mute.
All right, Ms. Sundar.
Yeah,
Mr.
present.
Arthur,
Here.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Trevs,
Here.
Mr. Shipley.
Yes, sorry about that.
All right, Rick, if you want to go ahead and go with
Okay.
the swearing in.
We'll do the swearing in. Okay, anyone who intends to testify, please raise your right hand and be sworn. And do we use the raising of the hand in the chat side, or do we just go with this right here?
We just go with it. Let them respond.
Okay. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? State I do, and when it's your turn to offer testimony, please state your full name, address, and affirm that you've been sworn in. And then on the chat side, anyone who intends to offer comments or testimony through the online chat room function also needs to be sworn in remotely. Before your initial comment, please type your name, address, and the words "I affirm" to indicate that you solemnly swear that the testimony that you are offering is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And for the new business, we will start with variance application VA-20-24.
All right, we'll go over a staff report first. And I have been sworn in since I will be testifying, giving these staff reports. And the applicant is on here, so we'll unmute him when we get done with the staff report.
Okay.
The variance case VA-20-24. The applicant and owner is Tran T. Hong and Lee T. Than. The site is 170 Coal Bend, Delaware, Ohio 43015. It's zoned single family plan residential district. They're requesting an area variance from rezoning case 15786 Olentangy Crossing single family to allow for an egress window to be placed within the side yard setback. The subject property is located on the north side of Coal Bend. The site is currently owned by the applicant, Tran T. Hong and Lee T. Than. When the house was purchased by its current owners, there was already one egress window previously built within the setbacks. The applicant would like a secondary window well for more natural light and a secondary emergency escape. The applicant has applied for a permit through their HOA and have been granted approval from the HOA. The applicant was unaware of the second application through Delaware County until the project was already installed. The applicant is seeking a 3 feet variance, the side yard setback of 12.5 feet. The surrounding areas to the north, south, east, and west are all zone single family plan residential district and have single family homes. There's a zoomed out aerial of the site. There's a zoomed in aerial of the site. For the staff review, it's area variance from rezoning case 18518 Old Township Crossings. I have that wrong. The setback, the side yard setback should be 12.5 feet. The egress window currently encroaches 3 feet into the side yard setback. The applicant is requesting a 3-foot variance to encroach in the side yard setback. Exhibit 1 is a site plan showing the placements of the egress window on the east side. The one south was one that was existing when the applicant had purchased the house. This one to the north is the proposed one that filed for a permit. Also has been installed. Exhibit 2 is the wall section view. Shows the building line where the edge of the house is, how far it sticks out 3 feet, and what the window wall looks like. Also included a couple site photos. This shows the egress windows as they are currently. That is all that I have. I know the applicant is on here, so if the board has questions or if the applicant wants to, we did provide in their application, they did provide documentation that it was approved through their HOA for the change.
This is Mr. Shipley. I have a couple of questions, but Mr. Chairman, were you going to give the applicant an opportunity to speak first, or?
We could, yeah, I mean, we definitely want him unmuted and everything for when we proceed and have questions. Because I do too. All we got was this picture of the wall section through the window well, which isn't real clear to me, but, and then the pictures on the outside too. I would have hoped that they would have supplied more pictures of what those actually look like against the house and everything. It looks like they protrude out through the shrubbery. But yeah.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, the applicant
yeah.
is on. If you can state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, this is Hong Tran at 170 Coal Bend.
Mr. Tran, did you have anything that you wanted to speak to prior to questions?
At the moment, give me.
Yeah, at this moment, we just wonder, because the window is already done, it had the lid cover for safety. And I do, when I submit the application, I did send out a lot of picture as far as the how it built and things like that, and how when it done. But I don't know if you got it or not. But anyway, my only concern now is we're hoping for approval on those windows because it's already done and we're not aware, like, you know, on application, we're not aware that we have to put a permit for the city. Otherwise, we'll do that first, but I thought the permit is all required from HOA. That's what I have, but I didn't know I had to put permit for the city. So my only question right now is I hope I have to approve for the window. That's all my question at this time.
Okay, and that was when I looked through the package. This is Ms. Shipley again. When I looked through the package, so and I just want to make sure that I understand. And I think we've cleared it up. The egress, the second egress window is already installed and it's completed, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but it looks exactly like the first one. It encroaches. That's the photo. Thank you, Jeff. So it appears to look exactly like the one that was there when you bought the home. And although a permit is required, one would reasonably assume that if there's already one there and you wanted to put another one there, I mean, I could certainly understand that piece. Although again, approval is required. But so that one doesn't extend any further than the first one, and it's the same type of egress and egress system. Is that true?
Yes, that's true. They are same material, same size, and they look exactly the same, and they stick out the same way, same width and same height. They look identical.
Okay. And as Mr. Beard
And
mentioned earlier,
how wide are,
go ahead.
How wide is the window?
we only got 2 pictures, and the pictures do not really show the dimensions or the lids or the house or the window. I mean, it looks like it's coming up the other guy's driveway, and the pictures really don't show what's going on here, in my opinion.
I second that. Even for my knowledge, I couldn't get a clarity. Especially I feel like in the picture where it says the site photos, the first picture, if you could see, I understand the applicant says it's both the same size, but for some reason, I feel like, I don't know which is new, which is old, by the way. For me, from the left side, it's like looking a little more wider. I may be wrong, but that's what I feel. Yeah, this picture, the one which is right now, Jeff, the left one seems to,
those are the only 2.
coming out more. Yeah. So, and then I like Mr. Rick said,
it just doesn't show. I mean,
They're hidden by bushes.
Yeah.
We needed a shot that was straighter on into what's going on there to actually see that.
The issues is the bushes.
He did say
the bushes block the view from getting straight on. So I'm the one that took those photos, but you can't see them from straight on because of the bushes. The bushes.
Okay.
On that second picture, those bushes block it from the street view.
So the bushes kind of hide them.
Yes, you can't see them if you're looking straight onto the house. You have to see
They're
them
kind of like in between.
Yeah, if you look.
So are those rectangular in size, Jeff?
No. They're U-shaped.
No.
This is Jerry Miller.
U-shaped. Okay.
I have an egress system in my house, and this looks identical to what I have. If you look at the staff review drawing that was submitted by Hoy Land Surveying, it's written in 54 wide, 38 deep, and 4 foot in height. And the height is actually, those are requirements from a safety standpoint. And I do have, if they have an existing egress, I understand the need for a permit, but why would they need a second request or a request for a variance if they've already got one there?
That first one was never permitted, was put in place.
And that's what I was just going to say. Yeah.
Put in years ago. Okay. We determined that by looking at the auditor sites, at their images over the years.
When was the house built?
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
Mr. Trent, you know when the house was built?
The house is about 10 years old. About 10 years, I think it built in 2011, something like that. About 10 years old.
And you purchased the house new from?
Oh, I just purchased this house last year in December 2019.
Okay.
So I just owned it 1 year, about 1 year.
So, Mr. Beard, if an egress was is part of the construction, or do you know that?
Yeah, it was not part of the original.
It was just added without permission.
As you on the the Hoy land survey, and they drew in the existing
Right.
the existing one also because it wasn't part of the plot plan.
Okay.
And it appears it was built around 2009, 2010. They've had 4 different owners since then. Before
Yeah,
train.
the house is built in 2009.
Yeah.
2009 built.
Yeah.
So pretty much, I would assume that if this is agreed to happen, that both of these are going to be covered under this, correct?
Correct. Yep.
This variance application.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, unfortunately, we can't go back to the previous owners that put the first ones in. And I am not a legal expert, but just as a homeowner, if one is already in, and they wanted to add a second one, that would be almost a no-brainer. But in the same vein, it does require a permit.
Yeah, that's the point I was trying to make a little earlier was that, if you buy a home, and he said he purchased it a year ago, and again, the permit required, understand, but a common sense kind of approach would say if it's already there and you went through all the inspections and everybody was all that other stuff that, it would almost, like you stated, be a no-brainer.
Right. I mean, these aren't cheap. They're like $4,000, $5,000. So
Yeah.
Now, does that have like a concrete structure to it, or is it just like a galvanized steel well, or what is that? I've never actually been in one, or
they can go either way. They can typically on a brand new build, they'll do a concrete structure on what I consider the higher end homes, like a Romanelli or something like that. But they can also be corrugated steel. There's a lot of things that
is yours corrugated?
Mine is corrugated, but you would not know that it was corrugated how it's finished. You do have to tie in.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm
have to be drained.
I'm just thinking, is an add-on typically corrugated?
For an add-on, yes. For new construction,
Yeah.
Put it in as concrete when they pour the walls and so on.
Yeah, and that exhibit 2 on there shows that it has to be tied into the drainage system underneath, and it kind of
correct
base. Yeah, all that stuff is on that exhibit 2 for that, and it looks to me like they nearly mirrored the first one.
Correct. Yeah. And I don't mean to be premature, but based on the one already there, and I do have familiarity with the egress systems. I'll make a motion to approve the VA 2024.
Second.
I will. Okay, go ahead. Perfect. Good.
All right, we have a motion made by Mr. Miller to approve variance case VA-20-24, seconded by Mr. Trebs. Those voting, Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Mr. Trebs,
Yes.
Ms. Sandauer.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. And Mr. Tran, I will make sure our director knows that this was passed tonight so she can review your pending permit that you have applied for here. So we'll get that out to you too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's a very good news for us. We worry about it. And thank you very much, for the approval.
Welcome. One thing, Mr. If you do decide in the future to add an additional one or want to do a concrete patio or something of that nature, make sure that your contractor and yourself does abide by the regulations.
Yes, sir. Yeah, this is my first time owning the house, so I didn't know I had to go through a lot between the city and HOA and all that, but I learned as I go. So
Mhm.
yeah, I learned as I go.
You basically
and,
always need to check with the 3 entities.
okay. Okay. Yes.
You'd want to start with your HOA first of all. And if it's okay with them, and then you would move on to us, for
Yes.
any kind
Yes.
of variance issues, or if you even if you would need it for, depending on what you're doing, and and then your permits with Delaware.
Yes. Yes, sir. Yep. I'll keep that in mind for the future. Yes, I'm not going to make the same mistake again.
Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, have a good holiday. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Should we just leave the call?
Yep, you can. Yep.
All right. You guys have a good day.
Thank you too. All right, that takes us on to the next case, which is variance case VA-20-25. The applicant is Benjamin and Susan Winfrey. The site is 5955 Windward Court. Parcel ID number 318-120-07031-000. Zone single family plan residential district. They're requesting an area variance from rezoning case 1558 Shores Mullins Tract PRD to allow for the removal of an existing deck and replace it with an expansion of an existing concrete deck to encroach in the building setback in an area zone single family plan residential district. The subject property is located on the east side of Windward Court at the intersection of Nantucket Drive. The site is currently owned by Benjamin and Susan Winfrey. The applicant is seeking a graduated setback from 30 feet to 20 feet from the building setback from the right of way of Windward Court. To the north, south, and east is all zone single family plan residential district with single family homes. To the west is road right of way, which is the roundabout, and then a single family home across from that. You have a zoomed out aerial of the site. You also have a zoomed in aerial of the location. In the staff review, the area variance from rezoning case 1558 Shores Mullins Tract shows minimum front yard setback is 30 feet, which is what from the right of way since it's a corner lot. The concrete deck addition will encroach into the building setback from the right of way at a distance of 10 feet. A variance of 10 feet from the building setback from the right of way is requested. Exhibit 1 is a site plan snip of zoomed in plan. Exhibit 2 is a graphic showing the proposed setback line, showing it with the existing Windward Court right of way compared to Stony Creek Court right of way. Exhibit 3 is a site plan showing the addition, the project notes, and the addition of the concrete patio. We included some site photos from Google Maps, satellite, and street view. And the top photo is looking from Windward Court at the house. The bottom one is looking from Nantucket Drive towards the house. We did have one staff comment. That was the director of operations. He had concerns if the changing was of the right of way line, but this is not but this is the setback from the right of way line. but he was just concerned if the right of way was changing that. He didn't like that, but since it's the setback from the right of way, it's not as much of a concern to him. The applicant provided just last week a letter from the Shores HOA after the review of the plan.
That's the one you emailed us separately, Jeff?
Yes, this is one I emailed separately.
All right, yeah. Okay, yeah, perfect. I didn't see it. Yeah, now I see it. Okay.
Yep, they approved. And then they do have some letters from neighbors in the area regarding it that were part of the application that were provided out to everyone. And that is all I have. I know the applicant is on here, and the contractor, the property owner is also on here. So if they want to speak.
Hi, my name's Joe, applicant with NJW Construction. Appreciate everyone's time tonight. Just looking for a variance to allow the owners to expand the function in their backyard. In the packet that I had sent, I had kind of made a case to show how some of the other courts in the same neighborhood have a smaller right-of-way line from the pavement than what they have at Windward Court. So all the variance would do would give them the same opportunities that the other homeowners in that neighborhood have that have corner lot conditions on courts.
Joe, can you state your name and record and address for the record, please?
Sure. Joe Schumach. You want my home address?
Whichever.
I'll give you the business. 5818 Winchester Road, Carroll, Ohio, 43112.
Thanks.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Michelle Elmer and I live at 5935 Windward Court, Lewis Center. I am the neighbor and my husband and I do have a question regarding trees around the perimeter. I don't see them in the plans, so I'm wondering what your plans are.
I believe that Ben has reached out to zoning to let them know that the same type of landscape screening would be provided with the new plan. We have not gotten a landscape plan together as of today. If that is required by the township, we'll definitely get that together. But that is their intent, is to screen that with greenery.
What type of plants are they going to be putting in?
Ben, have you selected any of those yet? Or were you just putting in the same type?
Hi, this is Ben Winfrey, 5955 Windward Court, Lewis Center, Ohio, 43035. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, we were, we have not set on the definitive landscape that we're going to put around it, but it'd be similar to what's already there, where there are viburnum on one side. We're really going to kind of base that on what the HOA requires in the sense of what they recommend or would limit. But currently, we would have the same black fence that is part of the HOA and the pictures that should be on there, I believe. And then we would also landscape it around to get more privacy, because when we purchased the house, there isn't a whole lot of privacy on that side. Anyway, I think they had a playground structure and some wooden things that were put out. So we would try to make that barrier a little bit better. Our brother-in-law is a landscape architecture. I think he was on the board for Ohio for a while. He owns a landscape company down in Cincinnati. So we're going to probably use him like we did the front of the house already. That's our
Okay,
intent to keep it.
Yeah, my husband and I just want to make sure that there's going to be some privacy between their property and our property. So we'd like some taller type of shrubs.
Yeah, I mean, our intent is to keep it, this is Ben Winfrey. Our intent is to keep it, as much privacy as we can.
Okay.
And, you know, I don't know if we'll do more than what's there right now, but at least obviously we want a private area as well. So whatever we can do to make that way.
Okay. Is there anybody else that has any other questions? I had a question as far as the concrete work. Now, does this have any kind of footer at all that's being installed with the concrete? Or is it strictly slab?
Strictly slab. I don't believe there's a turn down for the existing. We will put in the appropriate amount of saw cuts to anticipate any cracking.
You plan on putting rebar in?
Welded wire fabrics, yes, absolutely.
No rebar, just welded wire.
I can talk to our engineer, see what he recommends. I have not done that as of yet.
I just, you know, my question was just totally for footers, which
so no
you know,
footers.
I regard as a structure.
Was not intending to do.
But I think Mr. Miller, he had, you know, he had a different idea as far as reinforcement. Because I know there's a lot of people out there, or should I say contractors that, and I don't even know if they still use it, that used to have like chopped fiberglass and stuff like that into the concrete mix for, you know, extra reinforcement, kind of like your steel mesh, which is kind of like fencing material.
As of right now,
I think that's kind of typical on all concrete.
Yeah.
You may consider, and this is just a thought, and I don't know how much extra rebar would be, but as large as this, if you're planning to do, as a homeowner, especially with the expansion and contraction of the pool, as well along with the winter, that will prevent some nightmares 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, because that ground and concrete will expand and contract and will end up cracking. And I'm sure your clients would not want that to happen 3 years, 5 years from now, to be unhappy because they got cracks throughout the patio area as large as this is.
Yeah, understood. I will make sure I talk.
It's going to crack. There's no doubt about that.
I'm sorry.
It will crack.
Correct.
It will crack. That's a given with concrete. It's going to crack.
Right.
It's the thing you're talking about. I think is possibly in movement, and that happens once it cracks and water gets in it. You know, time and time again, and through, you know, expansion and contraction and freezing and thawing, and it starts to move a little bit.
Yeah, we have shown some control joints on the drawings. I'll make sure to include expansion joints as well, and I will talk with our engineer about the large expanse and any rebar requirements that he recommends.
Yeah, this is Ben Winfrey again. 5955 Windward Court. Is it okay if I interject something real quick?
Yes, please.
Yes. Sure.
There are cracks on there currently from the original pour back when the pool was first put in before we owned the house. And so our intent in the deck that is there currently, our intent is really to upgrade the area. And we're just asking for some relief to allow that extra space. Because right now it's not as functional of a space to have, you know, chairs around the pool or anything of the like. And so the intent is to obviously not just allow more area, but also to replace area that's already cracked currently, and then upgrade the deck that is pretty much, I would say, falling apart, but needs to be upgraded as well.
This is Mr. Shafts. It appears to me that if you simply eliminated 10 feet of the green new deck there, you would be within compliance. Is this not the case?
That is what they have currently.
So,
Right. But what Mr. Treves is saying, I think, is you would get that upper portion
right,
to
just
give you the area that you're looking for versus having it all the way down beside the pool.
because that red line,
Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
Sir, this is Ben Winfrey again. Yes.
Yeah, he would be in
yes,
compliance if he just added the concrete up in the top
Yes.
instead of all the way down beside the pool.
Yes, we were just asking for some relief so that we could add on that side of the pool. The fence and the area is barely small enough to have a chair and have anybody walk safely without falling in the pool. With children and whatnot, our intent was to have a little bit more space there so that we could allow that. Yes, I do understand it, because the current deck area that's right there currently is where that other green area that you're referencing closer to the house. And so we wanted to incorporate that as a larger area if possible.
well, the area closest to the house looks like it's well away from the proposed line. The red dotted line, is it not?
Barely away. The corner of the deck currently sits on the edge of that red line
Corner
as
of
it
which
is.
deck?
That we have in place currently right now.
Well, no, in the picture that we have in front of us, because I can't see your house, in
Sure.
the lower left-hand corner of the green, is that the current corner of the decking you have?
Can I see that picture on the camera? I'm not sure which one you're referencing.
Okay.
It looks like he's got an existing walk and deck that wrap behind the house and go right to that.
It's on sheet 2. If you've got your diagrams, site plan, sheet 2.
Yes, on sheet 2. So if you can see that deck, the corner of that deck is actually at the easement area. And
the lower left-hand corner.
The lower left-hand corner?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so as the easement comes around, it is actually encroaches to that. Yes. So the
But
ask is
not at the lower left. It's about 10 feet up, right? The way I'm seeing the 30-foot line, if the word concrete, C-O-N, at the first part of the N, it looks like that's about where that line intersects your green.
Sheet 6 shows the existing deck location on the demo plan, and it steps back as the current setback comes towards the back of the lot. They've stepped back the deck, and once the setback gets back towards the pool deck, everything that is there currently is within the current setback.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. So everything you're proposing from essentially the area 4s, I guess that's what you've got. Those would be in, and then the area 1s would be in, but the new 3 and 6 on that demo note is where the setback has to be changed in order to do anything in there.
Correct.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Just trying to understand what's new, what's existing.
Well, I was thinking the picture above that kind of showed in green the new part going in.
Yeah, but it wasn't clear to me.
I'm looking at my own PDF.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. If, you know, in my packet here, it did show 23.2 feet. And the whole green portion, I believe, is what he's reconfiguring
Well, that's what
from
they're
what he's got
redoing, yeah.
existing. Is that
But
correct?
part of it is already
Yes.
exists and part of it doesn't.
Mr. Jeff, if I could kindly ask you, so the picture I have in my hand, like the zoning B, where, there is a separate pack, which I have the big diagrams. Those set of pictures, if you could look for the zoning B, that picture clearly shows what is existing and what is proposed. If you go to that picture, sheet 4.
Sheet 4?
Sheet 4?
There you go.
I was
Yes.
looking at sheet 2 shows
Yeah, this
the
one.
green.
Yeah.
Sheet 2 shows the green.
Yeah.
And then
but
sheet 4 kind of shows you the existing and where they're going to hit that line at.
Right.
Correct. So the red line is the proposed one, and the black or green, whatever. So that's where I think, if that helps you, Mr. Shipley, that 10 feet, the 30, like 20 is from the red dotted line to the
To
solid.
the black, yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I understand all that. What my question was, because the new area wasn't in there and the shadows from the house, I wasn't sure exactly which panels in the destruction or demo on sheet, where'd it go?
Sheet 6.
Could be. Yeah, sheet 6. Those areas I thought were all inside the current setback. And the 3 and the 6 would be new portions, which they need a variance for, but all the 4s, which they're tearing up just to get new concrete, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying those are all within. So is it just the area marked as 3 and the area marked as 6 is the only ones that they actually need the variance for?
See what you're saying. So only back towards the pool. So yes, if we're looking at the sheet that's in front of everyone there, if we would be, the new plan would still be in compliance 16 to 20 feet away from the house.
Right.
Once you get past that point, that we would need that portion to be.
That's where you need the
Right.
black line to
Actu-
go over to the red line.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I don't think that's going to matter because they're going to need 10 feet once they get back beside the pool,
Mr. Jeff, can you
regardless
go
of
to
what's
sheet
up
6?
right around the corner of the house.
There you
Sheet
go,
6.
Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah. I thought this will help you more. Yeah.
That's the existing right there.
Well, yes and no, because it is the existing.
What do you mean yes and no?
Well, but number 3 and number 6 are just
They're
removing
asking.
fence. And that's
Exactly.
why okay, but that's where they want to put the new 10 feet, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Right.
That is correct.
Okay.
That's what they're asking for.
That's what they're asking for. So what are you asking for?
I was asking, do
I'm
they
not
need
sure.
that 10 feet? They're asking for it, but do they need
Yes.
it? Okay.
Yep.
What is the dimensions on the areas of one on all the ones? Let's see. It's 11'6", right? From the outside of the existing concrete to the edge of the pool.
Correct.
Okay. And the contention is that in 11'6" you can't have a lounger or a chair and have somebody have 4 to 5 feet to walk around the pool.
Correct.
Okay. How to say this?
You'd almost drive a car.
Sir, can I, this is Ben Winfrey, 5955 Windward Court. Can I add something
Sure.
to that? Or, yeah, so that inside that 11 feet also is that's from the fence to the pool. So in that is some rock and also area that is not concreted, more of a
How
area
many
for the fence
feet?
to sit in the ground. It's about 2 feet of it, 1.5 to 2 feet.
Okay, so you still
And,
have 9 feet.
Correct. And so when you have, if you try to put 2 or 3 chairs or an umbrella, because that faces the west side, so that's where all of our heat is. So we try to put an umbrella in or anything like that. If you add anything to that area, it does make it more. And my concern is we have young kids as well as younger kids, relatives that come over. It makes it more concerning that they could have not enough space to walk into that pool or walk around and then fall in. So it's also a safety issue, but we've looked at it as well in that regard. But yes, sir, we're asking for a little bit more relief to allow that space.
So
Well,
would 3 feet do you, or would 4 feet do you?
Well, the idea was to increase that space and to I guess from an aesthetic standpoint, square it off to the driveway / side of the house.
Well,
So that it was aesthetically, and
I
that's
can
where- 'cause
appreciate the aesthetics, but you're asking to claim land which you can't claim.
Yes, we're also asking just, I mean, it's not a permanent structure that we're trying to put in, just a patio area
Well,
to allow the use of
it's
that land. But
concrete.
yes. Yes.
It's about as permanent as one can get.
This is Jerry Miller. Let me ask you that same question that Kevin's asking you. You have 11 foot 6 inch now. At the very bottom of the drawing and to the left side of the drawing, you have 5 foot on the left and 6 foot on the bottom from the edge of the pool to the fence. Is that correct?
Correct.
So you're talking the far, I guess, north side of the property as well as to the east side of the property or the pool?
Yeah, 5 foot on
Yes.
one, 6 foot on the other.
Correct.
And presently you have 11 foot 6 inch on the right side. Is that correct?
Correct. So that leaves us the only side. That's because the stairs are there as well to get into the pool, but that leaves us as that is the only side to actually entertain. The other side, you can't put anything there without having to, there's just no space for that. So we were trying to incorporate the existing patio into that area as well to give us some space that is functional as well.
Could you tell us where the existing patio
well,
is?
And I think that's what he's saying.
Yes. So the existing patio is that little square that kind of jets out. It looks like section 4. That's just a little walkway. And then the existing patio / deck is that square that comes out to number 4. And so the idea is
what's
to
number
remove
2?
that.
2 is a demo note for the porch. So 2 is kind of in the middle of the porch that's to be removed.
Yes. And so that area.
It looks to me like the existing walkway and everything going onto the deck already breaks that easement line.
It's close.
Oh, you're saying the walkway
yeah, because the corner of the house is right there at the line. So
No.
somebody's already gone over that line with the existing concrete, I think.
No,
According to the pictures, because I'm
corner
looking at
of-
both pictures.
look at
the
sheet
same
2. Look at sheet 2. That shows that the existing line is almost at the corner of the house, but
Yes, exactly. And that's what I'm looking at on my computer with the other sheet that you had up there, 6. And it doesn't look like there's enough room in between the corner of the house right now for what's existing there right now in how this was built. It looks like it would violate the line right now. And I think what you're trying to say is if they just took out their existing deck and followed that easement line on back to the pool, that they'd have enough additional space up close to the house and the enclosed porch and not really need to get into this easement. Is that what you're?
Yeah, because
you're
it looks
thinking?
like the enclosed porch has got new concrete on the outside of it, and that's a patio of 23 feet by
14.
14. Thank you. I couldn't see it. So I'm assuming that's where the
and that's a pretty
grill
good
and other
size.
things is going to be. You said entertaining, and I wouldn't think you'd put a grill or anything out there in the new 10-foot area going up on the left-hand side as we're looking at number 2. I have no idea what direction that is, but it's on the left-hand side of the pool as we're looking at it on this diagram. Oh, there's north. It would be on the west side.
See, part of the confusion is these drawings are different from a placement standpoint from one to the other. In other words, 2
Yeah, I
and
know.
6 do not match. They're actually the opposite.
Yeah, in the view. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm still looking at stuff.
Part of what I was trying to convey on the packet that I had sent was other property owners would have the ability to do this type of project. And some of the courts with corner lots in this development would be able to do this project.
Sure.
Because of the way that this the right-of-ways were created. So I would think that that would be a hardship, and it would be something that would be favorable for the variance to be approved.
Well, hardship would be if you couldn't do it at all. And you can do everything that you're proposing.
Hardship would be if you.
Or topography.
Or topography, yes.
Yeah, you're just wanting to expand. You have a usable setup right now.
Quick question. Did you install the pool, or was that the pool was there when you purchased a house?
This is Ben Winfrey again, 5955 Windward Court. When we purchased the house, everything that is there on the plans as such was already there. We have not installed anything at all.
So the pool, all the decking, et cetera, was all present when you purchased?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's what it was. Is it Ben? You were telling us that on the existing pool, you have the pool on the east side, no, west side, I'm sorry. On the west side, you have the pool, the existing concrete, then you have something like mulch or gravel area, and then the fence. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
And you thought it might be 2.5 feet?
It's about that. Yes, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I had that in my head before I asked the question. So is there anything, well, no, it doesn't make any difference. Is it possible to turn that area between the existing concrete and the current placement of the fence into concrete, could you, pour a 2.5-foot strip along that and then have that as the part of that concrete on the west side? And Joe, I think that's more of a question.
I suppose we could.
Sorry, Ben.
Yeah, I'd have to defer to Joe. I don't. I guess the issue I would have would be where would the fence then be in the easement area as well, because there's not any extra space there. But I'll let Joe answer.
Yeah, they want to kind of mimic what is there currently. So moving the fence with the variance, it would allow them to move the fence out, still have a buffer between the fence and the concrete, to have the same type of aesthetic, and it would give them more functional space.
Joe or Ben, on the east side, is that same buffer zone on around the fence on the east side and then on the south side?
I'm trying to, let's see. The south side is to the house.
Okay, sorry, north then.
So the north side, there is a mulched area and then like a little garden, but it was a play area before and a sandbox before we purchased the house. So that is kind of mulched area and also area to hopefully buffer between the neighbors. And then on the east side, that is also a mulched area. It kind of slopes down. It's built, I don't know if you can tell from the topography, but it slopes way down the way the lot is built up. And there's landscaping there from a privacy standpoint for those neighbors.
Okay.
So there isn't the same.
On the mulched areas that you're telling us about them, are they that same 2.5 feet?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's gravel that's there and the fence is set back a little bit from there. Yes. So, I mean, it's a little bit wider there because it's all landscaped and mulched. It's differently, there's grass and whatnot as well.
Right.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
Well, Jeff just moved a picture and it's an aerial shot of your house with the pool and what I assume the fence, and then there's something else there. I don't know what that is. I guess it's on the north side of the house and it looks like a gravel or sand area outside of the fence towards the neighbor to your back side. Yeah,
correct. Yes, sir. That's the area where the prior owners had a sand pit or sandbox that we converted to a small garden. And then they also, because we wanted to keep it away from the front of the house, obviously aesthetically. And then the only thing we did differently there was we took out, they had a play gym area that they had taken away. So it's all mulch and whatnot there. But that would be re-landscaped to help with the buffer, because those are the neighbors that Miss Michelle Elmer and Johnny, who mentioned earlier that they'd like that landscape. That would be the area where we would landscape for privacy.
Okay.
Is the auditor's website map, if that's showing an old play area and garden area and stuff like that, do you have any idea what the date of that map is?
The current one up?
I have, personally, if you're asking myself, I do not know. I do know that all the landscaping that is there in the front, that was torn out about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, and replaced. So I know it's at least 2 years old.
Okay.
But that does show the walkway that we were talking about from the driveway. And so the idea was to incorporate and basically square that off, if that makes sense. And then also incorporate where the HVAC system is to aesthetically make that better as well, because that's facing that court, the cul-de-sac there.
Okay. Another question on sheet 8.
Jerry, just a second. That last photo was from 2016. This is the most up-to-date photo that I'm currently sharing from the auditor site.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Joe. Well, you've got quite a bit of room to the
North.
north side. Yeah. On sheet 8, it shows the fencing almost up to the concrete within a matter of what be inches. So if that's true, that 2 feet of gravel mulch area, you're going to be removing that completely and have the concrete right up to the edge of the fence. Is that accurate?
I have to let Joe speak to that because the plan is not to have this, I don't believe, have the fencing set into the concrete. So it would be set into just next to it, if that makes sense, into the ground. So it's not.
Yeah, we can keep the buffer.
Right.
It's not shown currently, but we can keep that.
Is that a 6-inch buffer, a 3-inch buffer?
Currently, the way that it's shown would probably be closer to a 3-inch, but we can keep the current, we can bring that in and show a 12 or 18-inch buffer.
Oh, I wouldn't want a 12 or 18-inch buffer. You're going to have fun going in there with a lawnmower and cutting that 18 inches of grass.
I would think they would have mulch or gravel would be the intent.
Yeah, and also that buffer would allow, a little bit of a buffer would allow the landscaping from an aesthetic standpoint too. So it's not just the fence that everybody sees from the cul-de-sac or court, or
Right.
or the neighbors, Miss Michelle, Elmer, and Johnny.
Well,
Elmer.
the people should be seeing the landscaping on the outside and never see the fence to the concrete. If you're standing on the outside.
Correct. Right? I hear what you're saying. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to say, wait a minute. Now, if you're standing inside, that's another story. And now you're going to see the 318, whatever you guys design. But that drawing was one of the reasons I was asking about what is there currently and what you want at the end of it. And prior to this, I thought you had said, well, we want to maintain that 2.5 foot buffer, but that's certainly not shown there in the diagram on page 8.
Yeah, correct. We would have some type of buffer there, yes. So the concrete going all the way out to the fence is not accurate on this drawing.
So with the addition that you're adding going down the front side of this pool, you're asking for basically 21.5 feet.
I think
saying that 11.6 is not enough.
Well, I don't know if that.
Correct?
Joe, I'm gonna have to defer to you. I don't know if does it come out that far? I thought it was only about an extra.
Well, according to what you're asking for in that line in the other pictures, it looks to me, well, if you're asking for, because it looks like right now it's pretty much on that easement line. All of this is. And
it's very close.
By the time you get down here to the end of the pool, if it's 10 feet, that means it's going to be 21.6 deep, which is, shoot, I think that's as deep as my garage.
Yeah,
you could fit
sheet
Kelvin's
7
truck in there.
Well, yes, you could.
That's
on sheet 7.
Sheet 6. I'm looking at sheet 6, which is the original.
Okay, I was looking at sheet 7.
Now, see, sheet 7 doesn't.
But that's got
that
20
foot,
foot
7.5
inch. Yeah. But that's from the edge of the pool.
That's got 20. Yeah. Okay. So we're just about Okay, yeah, I was looking at the other one that showed the dimensions also on sheet
And-
2.
And Joe?
Yeah.
On sheet 7, the 11.6 that is shown from the edge of the pool to almost the second vertical line there, that's reflective of the current concrete, the 11.6?
Probably the current fence location.
Current fence, okay. And then then it looks like we've got another 8 foot 7.5 inches to the proposed fence.
Correct.
And at that point is when you need the 10 feet variance.
Correct. It might be a little less than that. We haven't had our surveyor out there at this point, but it would be close to that. Yes.
Close enough. That's what we have to deal with it tonight. So.
Correct.
One thing, just for futures, if you could, number one, always put a north arrow on drawings, all drawings, so
Yeah.
we don't get confused of one drawing shows it or has the impression that it's south and the other drawing has it at north. The other thing is make sure your drawings are to scale or accurate. That helps us a bunch.
Just a clarification point on sheet 7. Is this a new gate in that fence? Is there an existing gate currently on that side?
Yes, sir. This is Ben Winfrey again. Yes, sir. There is no gate access on that side. There are 2 gates almost within about 10 feet of each other, one facing the house directly where the fence is currently, and one facing Windward Court. The reason for that other gate access was to allow to access that area of the property where the garden is, or that area without having to go all the way around. That was
Gotcha.
the proposal there. Yes, sir.
Thank you, by the way.
Jeff, was there permission given to do all this originally? I know the deck and the pool and
I believe there was a
all
permit
of that
for-
originally.
Yeah, there was a permit that was established, but it was within the setback, so it was to the setback pretty much.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it looks like it pretty much follows the setback right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And typically the walkway isn't really considered in the setback area. I know that one picture shows it in the setback.
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, I know. I've mentioned that before.
We don't necessarily have
Yeah.
standards on the walkway, so it'd be like a sidewalk. There's nothing in our code that regulates those walkways.
Right. Which to me is the same thing as a slab patio. It's slab concrete. Unless you've got a footer, it's entirely different.
I'll make one comment here. And then I'm out of questions. On any of the diagrams like page 2 or no, that's the only one that really shows it. You
Page 2.
have a lot of area on the north side of the pool. You have stated that the west side of the pool is hard to use because the sunshine, you need umbrellas and other things. Have you thought about not putting the additional concrete in on the west side, but putting some additional concrete on the north side to have your entertaining area or your lounging area or whatever? And this is not me trying to redesign your project. That's just a question.
Sir, no, we did look at that as an idea. What that would do then is remove any chance of putting a garden that would be hidden from anywhere. And then also from a functionality standpoint, getting to that area, we would have to walk everything there, and it would, the goal was to incorporate where the current deck is into that other sitting area and not to expand the footprint towards the neighbors, so that way there's more of a buffer. The way the layout of the house was, there's not a whole lot of, it looks like there's space on the plot map, but there's not, their front door pretty much faces that pool. And so it's a unique layout, and our goal was not to encroach more to them, so there'd be more of a buffer to allow them some relief as well.
Consider putting a garden area back in that south right-hand corner. That's just me.
Yes, yes, sir. Well, the garden area right now is in that northeast corner currently. The south corner
or south corner. Oh, excuse me, you're right. My mistake.
It's in the north. That's okay. And that's where that's where it was sandbox before, and we just kept it
southeast.
as is.
No, it's actually the northeast corner.
Yeah, the southeast corner would be the fireplace area and the pool pump and the on the deck system currently right now.
And Kelvin, just to answer that, with that area, there's a 25-foot setback from that property line, because that'd be the rear property. So they would
Okay.
25-foot setback, which I'm not.
I guess I did not see that, Jeff. Sorry.
They don't.
So he could only gain 5 feet.
Yep.
The back on the north side.
And annoy most of his neighbors.
And sir, that's my
Well,
intent.
and I'm
Our
not
goal is
sure
not to
why
do
they
that.
didn't originally take that 5 foot.
If you did add 5 feet on the north side to put a 25-foot setback, that would give you additional area all the way around that north side of the pool.
Yes, sir, I agree. My concern though is I don't really want to
Yeah.
encroach and have a lot towards the neighbors there. It really is a narrow area for that.
It is pretty much to the 25-foot setback. There's a chance that the west side of that is actually less than 25 feet from that property line. But the outer site measuring tool is not always the most accurate, but it does give you a general idea. And they wouldn't really have much room to go north.
I have no further questions.
I have no further questions.
I don't have anything further either. Does anybody have a motion?
I'm going to leave this up to you, Mr. Chairman.
And we did provide the approval from the HOA, so they do have that approval, but they can still work with the HOA. I know there was a concern with the landscaping. And then they also mentioned in the application comparing a couple other courts that are in the neighborhood that have a smaller right-of-way setback.
And we have letters. There's been no letter of concern. And the only concern piece was the landscaping that was brought up at the very beginning, correct, Jeff?
That is correct. And I received one call and they were supportive of it, and I believe they submitted a letter already. Also,
Right. Yeah, most everybody has. Looks like they. Yeah.
Okay, then I'll make a motion to approve VA-20-25.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Oster to approve variance case VA-20-25, second by Mr. Shipley. Those voting, Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes, with reservation.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Mr. Krebs,
No.
Ms. Sandar.
No.
The motion carries 3-2. Joe and Ben, I'll work on a letter, and we'll be sending out a letter after this for your records to keep. And then the next thing you'll need to do is submit a residential permit for this. And as long as it meets what was approved here tonight, then it could be approved. So
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Jeff.
you.
Appreciate it. And
And
thank you all.
I would
you all for your
I would
time.
add that and that is based off your 8-foot measurements that you gave here in your design.
Okay.
I'd also suggest that based on your physical size, and this is something that we said to Joe as well, and this only a suggestion, is as large as your concrete is, it has some good extension joints, and it also have rebar in there instead of wire.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good holiday.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
the next order of business is just discussion about minutes from October 15th and November 12th.
Let's see.
I read October 15th and 12th, or November 12th, and I don't find any errors.
I've read them also, Jeff, and I didn't find any, but I'm not the best editor.
Yeah,
I read
Kelvin.
them and I have some.
Kelvin's department there.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey guys, my area is physics, math, chemistry. Why am I suddenly the person who finds things?
Apparently, you're the guy.
Well, you know.
Okay, page 1 of 7. It's the VA 2021,
Okay.
October 15th, lines 49, 50, and 51.
Wait a minute. I don't have that
Yep.
one. I have,
I see 49, 50, and 51.
my mistake.
Buying the
Yeah.
house.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was reading something else when you asked me. It's a confusion of we and they. We asked that they would or we would be able to put the third car. Not they would, but we would be able to put the third car in, right? And they may have said they, but it just doesn't read well.
Well, I think that reads okay. I mean, so they ask if they would be able to put a third car garage on it at a later time, because
No,
they were
it's
dealing
so
with who
we
was
ask if
building the house,
they
right?
would. You wouldn't. It's
If-
not. We would ask
So
if
we
they
asked
would.
if-
It was
Well, yeah. So
no. They're the ones putting the third car garage on.
looks correct to me.
All right.
Kelvin, so you wanted to say, so we asked, would we
yeah,
be able to?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And I can listen to the recording to
Just if they said they, that's great. If they didn't, then I think it's a different word.
yeah, because they're asking the people that built the house.
When we approached them about, right, because
They're
it says
asking-
when we approached them about buying the house was in the stage where they had the foundation set. So
Yep.
we asked, would they be able to put a third car garage on it at a later time? That reads totally fine for me.
Okay.
And they said,
it sounded funny when I
where
read
we
it.
were from the setbacks. Yeah, I think it made perfect sense to me, but yeah. Because the they is the builder.
Yeah. In that reading of it, yes, that's correct. I agree.
Right.
Page,
And then they said from where we were, and then, you know, they said from where they were. You could read that both ways.
yep.
So in other words, they said from where they were from the setbacks that it would be fine and not require any type of variance.
Yes. So re-listen to it and see what you think, Jeff.
Okay.
I just bring it up as a point. Page 2 of 7, line 83, 84. Water will dam up against the side of the house and potentially create a freeze point where we put a cricket in the roof there. Cricket? That term is unfamiliar to me in roofing.
Well, they might be from,
Careful.
England.
cricket.
Oh,
I'm just saying, listen to that because I think it may have been a crease. I don't know.
I'll agree to that.
Which line was that again?
That's line
84.
84 in particular.
Yeah, I think that was one that was hard to understand on the recording. So
I believe it. Page 3 of 7, line 106. The previous, it's ice damming in the crooked areas and allow for a larger area. Crooked areas?
Creased.
The cricket areas maybe, or the creased areas. I just listened to that again, Jeff, because it's a little odd.
yeah, that was that whole roof
Yeah,
stuff was kind of
that
weird
whole
on that.
conversation was odd.
You know,
But-
that,
It was.
Gentlemen, those are the only 3 I had. I'm pretty sure. Yep. I had nothing for
okay.
November 12th, and which I think is just the one. No, I had nothing for any of them on November 12th.
Outstanding.
You guys do a real good job listening to those tapes and transcribing them.
I had one, and that's just the name of the applicant, the Thomas. It should be Kirchner.
Oh, see, I wouldn't have known that unless I
Yeah.
pulled out the old
Exactly.
stuff. So,
And he actually wasn't the applicant. He spoke for the applicant as another meeting. So I just know him from working with that property. But it should be Kirchner. Instead of the spelling.
take your word for it.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for October 15th and November 12th for VA 2020, VA 2021, VA 2022, VA 2023.
I second.
Okay, for the first one, you have to. Are you gonna
with
the amendments or?
Yes, per the amendments.
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Miller to approve minutes from October 15th, 2020 for VA-CU-2020 and VA-2021 as amended. Second by Ms. Sundar. Those voting, Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Mr. Trebs,
Yes.
Ms. Sundar.
Yes.
Okay. And then I have motion made by Mr. Miller to approve minutes from November 12th, 2020 for VA-20-22 and VA-20-23. Second by Ms. Sundar. Those voting, Mr. Oster.
Yes.
Wake up. Yes.
Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Ms. Sindar.
Yes.
They approved.
Mr. Beard, I have a question. I did a Mr. Oster in that I had my iPad up and my PC up. And I was watching part of this on the YouTube as we went forward. And I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but there's a 20 to 30 second delay from one to the YouTube.
Yes, that's just from live streaming it from Zoom to YouTube. That's what it takes, but it still covers everything that is stated and shown.
Okay, I just didn't know if you were aware of that.
Yep.
Yeah, everything's delayed by the same factor. It should be.
Yep.
And I'll make y'all jealous. My garage is 35 foot deep
Woohoo!
Nice.
and 23 feet wide.
Excellent.
Hey, fellas, I have a dinner date. I'm going to jump off here. You guys have a good holiday. Good